We'll begin with you. Why is this the right fight to make for the world title?
Well, these are two really accomplished fighters. Vasiliy Lomachenko was the greatest amateur fighter in the history of boxing. He had 397 amateur fights and lost only one. As a professional, he's won titles in all divisions, coming from 126 to 130 and then to 135. He is technically considered one of the greatest masters of the sport of boxing. And George Kambosos is a fighter who is always in the fight, giving his all and putting on splendid performances. The people in Perth and the people around the world are in for a really big treat when these two great fighters meet in the ring in Perth.
You listed Lomachenko's stellar resume, but can you tell us more about Lomachenko, the man? Because us Aussies all love George Kambosos, but what can we expect from the man Lomachenko when he comes to Australia, and particularly here in Perth?
I think, like fans all over the world, the fans in Perth will fall in love with Lomachenko, even though he'll be fighting an Aussie, because Lomachenko is such a gentleman and he's such a sterling person. I remember when the Russians attacked Ukraine, Loma was training for a fight outside of Ukraine, and he immediately left, flew to Romania, and drove to the suburb of Odessa, where he lives, and put on a uniform to help defend his country. He is an exemplary person, great family man, everything that could be good for the sport of boxing is personified by Vasiliy Lomachenko.
An absolute gentleman he is, but he's coming off a pretty controversial loss against Devin Haney. Do you think he should have won that fight?
Everybody that was sitting with me in my area at ringside had the fight 8 rounds Lomachenko, 4 rounds Haney. I thought at worst Loma pulled it out 7-5, but the judges, who were good judges, saw it differently from myself and other spectators. It is what it is. That can happen in a sport where the judges can be very subjective the way they judge a fight. But so Loma took that loss as a man, and now he's resuming his career, hoping to win another lightweight world title in Perth against a tough competitor in George Kambosos.
Lou, you look like you wanted to jump in there. Do you agree or disagree?
Loma is a legend of boxing. You know, he's an all-time great. When he becomes eligible, whether it's after this fight or after 4 fights or after another 5 fights, he's already earned entrance into the Hall of Fame. George is a former world champion who's knocked off one of the best fighters in the world in Teofimo Lopez, only lost, twice to the same man who's one of the best fighters in the world. And now he's bringing a legend and one of the best fighters in the world to Western Australia and to Perth for a fight for 2 world championship belts, for the IBF belt and for the IBO belt that George now holds. It's a great fight. It's a great event. Thank you to the Deputy Premier and thank you to the Western Australian government, because without your support, we wouldn't be able to bring this event to Perth. And I can't wait to come to Perth. I haven't really spent any significant time in Western Australia, and I'm looking forward to coming with my friend here and having a good time.
many Americans have never been to Perth. They've been to Sydney and Melbourne and even Brisbane because Manny Pacquiao fought there. So we haven't heard very much about Perth. But in the last 3 weeks here in Los Angeles, I've run into a number of people who lived in Perth and have spent a time in Perth, and they rave about the people and the city. So we can't wait to come over there because Perth is the hidden city in Australia that most Americans don't know about, but they will after this fight.
Danny Green has been singing the praises of Perth to me for a very long time. My friend Danny Green, a legend in boxing in Perth. And I look forward to seeing Danny in Perth when we get there, too.
Yes, all West Aussies sing the praises of Perth. It's a hot city, so you don't need to bring any jumpers or jackets, you two. You did mention, Lou, that George is bringing a legend of the sport to Perth. Just can you elaborate on how big of a deal it is to have Lomachenko coming here to Perth?
I think it's a big deal. First, I want to look at it from George's perspective. You know, he only wants to fight the best, and he's fought. You know, Haney's a great fighter. He gave that young kid an opportunity when other people, you know, really didn't want to. Haney's a very difficult guy to beat. Loma is a legend. His style, though, probably is actually much easier for George. Not that I'm saying it's an easy style. He's the Matrix. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think it's a big deal when you haven't seen Loma in Australia, period, to have a legend fight on Australian soil against an Aussie, a great Aussie fighter, an Australian world champion, and a great ambassador for Australian boxing, and George Kambosos. So it's just a great event, and I'm glad it's coming to a place that I want to spend a little time.
Let's talk a little bit more about George. Do you think he was the rightful winner against Maxie Hughes?
I think it was a fight that could have gone either way. It was sort of a bull and matador kind of fight, as every fight of Maxie's is. I think Maxie had a right to feel upset, but whenever you're in a fight that could go either way, you're going to be upset if you don't get the nod. And I'm very happy for Maxie, by the way, who's getting an opportunity to fight a title elimination bout and will become a mandatory again for a world title shot. So at least it's worked out for both men. George is getting the opportunity to bring this big event to Australia against the legendary Hall of Fame fighter in Lomachenko. Frankly, if George can pull off another upset here, he starts making his own strong case to be a Hall of Famer one day himself.
Do you think he will? Because I think what Aussies love about George is that he continues to prove critics wrong time and time again. Do you think he will cause that upset on May 12th?
I think he will, but I'm biased, and I've seen him do it before. I think he will, but I think that it'll be a great fight. I think he has an opportunity here, the best possible opportunity of fighting a guy of this stature, but fighting him in your home country with a very supportive audience and crowd. You know, Loma's used to fighting on foreign soil. Both men are, frankly. George has been an underdog his whole career, so he's an underdog again. Yeah, I think he's going to do it, and I hope a lot of people do.
Finally, to you both, before I let you go, can you give us your last sell of this bout on May 12? Why should people come here to Perth, and why should people tune in on Main Event and ESPN?
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, if you want to see a great championship fight with one of the legendary fighters in the sport of boxing in history, you have to come and see this fight because it's competitive. It's going to be very interesting, and the master of the Matrix, Vasiliy Lomachenko, will thrill everybody with his technique. George Kambosos, you cannot count him out. He has a really good chance to win the fight. It'll be a great event. There'll be 2 other championship fights on the card that are also going to be very interesting. It's a big night. It'll get a great audience around the world. I can't wait to come to Perth and to be at the fights. And I think everybody in Western Australia who can should buy their tickets as soon as possible, because I am sure it's going to be one of those events which will be a sellout, and tickets will be going on the outside market for a lot more than the price that they're being sold for now.
Get your tickets early.
Thank you, Lou. Wise advice. Hey, both of you.
I co-sign everything Bob said. I do want to say we'll have an announcement in the next few weeks of the 2 other world title fights. We think we have a main event that's one of the more significant fights of the entire year, so we wanted to stand on its own today, and we'll be announcing the undercard, including 2 world title fights for a world title triple header. We'll make that announcement in the next week or 2.
Yes, it is a triple header on May 12. It is an absolute honour to have you on Foxtel this morning, both you, Lou and Bob. Thank you so much for making this happen, and we cannot wait to welcome you to Perth, Western Australia.
Good day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce the fighters. This is Lomachenko versus Kambosos.
George Ferocious Kambosos!
The American ends the reign of George Kambosos.
George has a lot to prove to move forward with his career.
Pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters of his generation. The man known the world over simply as... It is over. Loma is back. Vintage form. Oh, what a right hand.
The Orfeo just got dropped!
Oh, boy. One of the biggest upsets you will see.
Kambosos is the real deal. What he did is incredible.
This is boxing. This is the main event.
How exciting. Get excited. May 12 here at RAC Arena, live in Perth, Western Australia. We're about to welcome live from Los Angeles, the fastest man ever to become a 3-division world champion, Vasiliy Lomachenko. But right here in person at RAC Arena in Perth, the IBO Lightweight world champion. Please welcome George Ferocious Kambosos.
Are all against me, I'm ready to go, burning it down. They ain't noticed till the temperature rose. Bless the energy, then we erupt in a blaze. Mama save us, I swear the baby's lately crazy these days. People dancing like they warriors, use the passion. I got my head in the clouds, intergalactic. I'm on a venomous prowl, ready to snatch it.
And joining us live from Los Angeles on screen this morning, as I said, the fastest man ever to become a 3-division world champion, Vasiliy Lomachenko. But I will start with George. George, you've never shied away from a challenge, and you've signed to take on one of the greatest in the history of the division. Why?
Look, I never step away from a challenge. I always want to fight the best. And the man, Vasiliy Lomachenko, is a guy that we have looked at for a very long time, a guy that, I've been watching from a young kid. This guy is a legend. The respect we have for him is huge. And we have been meaning to fight for many times. So to have this official now, it is extraordinary. I'm very motivated for this fight. I'm very excited, and we can't wait. But most of all, we're very excited to be bringing this big event, this mega fight, another mega fight that Kambosos brings to Australia, to Western Australia. I have to thank the Western Australian government for getting behind this. I have to thank my promoters, the Bell Entertainment, Lou DeBella, Top Rank, Bob Arum, TEG, and of course Ferocious Promotions, my manager, Jim Kambosos, and the Australian public for again getting behind these big events. We are very excited, and we cannot wait to step in the ring with a legend on May 12th.
Are you seeing this as a way to restamp your authority, George? I mean, this is going to be massive on May 12, and the Australian public will stop and watch you and Vasiliy on May 12.
This fight rejuvenates my career. This gives me my redemption. Yes, I've been in the big fights. I've fought the best. I've won the big fights. I've lost the big fights. But for me, this is legacy. This is not about anything else. This is not about money. This is not about winning another world title. And this is the same for Vasiliy Lomachenko. He has made money. I have made money. He has won belts. I have won belts. This fight is a legacy. Two orthodox warriors coming together for a big, big fight. And I think our careers are both on the line here. Hall of Fame is on the line here. Legacy is on the line here. And I believe this is my destiny. The way this has happened, this is a different Kambosos that we'll see on May 12th.
You mentioned legacy. Jim, what would a win on May 12 do for George's legacy?
Well, obviously, he'll be known as Australia's greatest fighter ever and Hall of Famer as well. But yeah, legacy is a big thing for George. He's fought the greatest guys, as we all know. But Vasiliy Lomachenko, he is one of the greats. No one's going to turn around and say anything bad about Vasiliy. And this is why we're so eager for this fight to take place May the 12th here in Perth, RAC Arena. And congratulations once again to Western Australia, to the Deputy Premier, to TEG, main event, and everybody who was involved, Lou DeBella and Top Rank, for putting this together.
There seems to be a bit of a different vibe to today's announcement. There is nothing but respect for your opponent, a bit different to the build-up against Haney. Why is that?
Look, me and Lomachenko are the same. You know, we are warriors. We come to fight. We have the same faith. We don't need to disrespect this fight. We don't need to go over and aboard. The names here, Lomachenko, Kambosos, Kambosos, Lomachenko. What is on the line? What is at stake here? Sells this fight. This is the biggest fight in Australian history. Yes, I've had some big fights, me and Devon, but this here is legacy, destiny for both of us. We don't need to go overboard. We don't need to create any other, storyline, no headline. This is respect. Two warriors coming to fight for legacy and to show the world that one of us will continue with a career and one of us, is going to go not where we want to go. So I'm very motivated for this fight. I know Vasiliy will be very motivated for this fight. And May 12th, a true fight, a true war is going to come to Perth.
Jim, why do you think this is the right time for this bout?
Well, this fight, to be honest, was talked about when Australia was doing Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn. 2017, it was talked about by the promoter back then that one day Kambosos Lomachenko is going to land in Australia. And to be honest, it's been on our radar for a long time. But obviously George is, former undisputed champion of the world and he's gone to the top of the mountain. But the thing is, this is just a great fight. It's something that's been in the making for a long time. We've got a new trainer and he's from Russia. And the thing is, he knows that style that Lomachenko brings. He knows that skill and that work and that technique. So you know what? We are so pumped for this. So Western Australia, you're getting the biggest fight in Australian history right now.
Damn right. George, can you elaborate on what your new trainer is bringing?
Look, everything is destiny, I believe. Things just happen. God works in mysterious ways, and I have linked up with a great trainer, Anton, who is from Russia, who has been involved in a lot of, big tournaments over there and knows, the European, Russian style and old school Soviet style. This is what I needed. It's unbelievable how sometimes things just happen. This is why this destiny was meant to be, not only with a trainer to take me to victory, but with the whole way this fight happened. This is truly destiny, the way I see it, legacy, and we are very excited for this fight.
May 12, meant to be. Let's cross live to Los Angeles and bring in the man, Vasiliy Lomachenko. Thank you for joining us this morning alongside your manager. Firstly, anything you'd like to say, because there's a feeling of nothing but respect for you in this room at the moment.
Hi everyone. I'm very happy to come back. I'm very happy to be there. And see you May 12.
Vasiliy, why is taking on Kambosos in Australia the right fight for you at this stage of your career?
Почему ты едешь в Австралию быстро с Камбоджей в таком сейчас в твоей карьере?
Because it's a next chance be a world champion again, and I never been in Australia. I always want to be, and it's a good chance.
We're going to put on an absolute show for you here in Australia. You proved in your last bout that you are still truly one of the best in the world. Is it still your goal to become undisputed at lightweight?
Еще для тебя still твой goal быть этим абсолютным?
Look, right now my goal be world champion again, and no, after I can start thinking about undisputed again.
We're all beginning to look at the form guides. How do you compare your own performance against Devin Haney to George's two performances against him?
Как ты можешь сравнить свой поединок с Генни и Камбосос поединок с Генни?
It was two different fights. It was two different styles, and now, if we're talking about my fight, I'm not lose, on my opinion, this fight. If we're talking about Kambosos Haney, Kambosos had two chances, but he lost.
George, keen to get your thoughts on Lomachenko's bout with Haney.
I respect that. I respect what he said, and I'm not here to, say who won, who lost, what happened. Whatever happened is in the past. I'm focused on May 12th, but if we do go to the past, and again, I don't want to be disrespectful here. Yes, I lost to Devin Haney, but there is a guy named Teofimo Lopez where you had your chance as well. And unfortunately, you didn't get your chance there. You didn't take your chance. I did. As much as political they want to say that I wasn't undisputed, but we know deep down, we paid that sanctioning fee for the WBC. I was undisputed champion of the world, but it doesn't bother me. May 12th is a new day. May 12th is going to be a very exciting day, and what a fight it's going to be. Kambosos Lomachenko in Perth, two warriors, two orthodox warriors coming to fight. This is what matters. This is my main focus, and the past is the past. Like I said, I've got a great team. I've assembled a great team, led by Anton, and we are coming for victory, nothing less. Like I said, this is not about money. This is not about belts. Lomachenko wants to be world champion again. For me, I want victory. I do not really care. The belt is the belt, but legacy is what my motivation in this fight is.
Finally, Vasiliy, before I let you go, how much do you think a world title victory on May 12 would help inspire the Ukrainian people to continue their fight?
Это и для Украины будет большое достижение, что ты станешь опять чемпионом.
I think so, because right now we have only one world champion. It's Alexander Usyk, and May 12 it can be two world champions in our country.
Finally, one more before we let you go. I lied before, I do have one more. Can you give us a final sell as to why people here in Australia should come and watch you take on George Kambosos and buy a ticket or tune in on May 12?
Можешь дать какие-то советы для почему должны прийти сюда вас смотреть в Perth?
Look, you know what? I respect George Kambosos because he's never give up during a fight, and it will be very, very interesting fight because we have two different styles, and styles makes fight.
Well said, George. Your last push as to why no one should miss May 12?
Exactly how the great Lomachenko said it. Couldn't say it any better. Styles make fights, and this fight is one not to be missed. Styles make fights, and we believe we have the style to be Lomachenko. He believes that he has the style to be me, and you're going to expect an action fight, no stepping back, two warriors coming to fight. We're excited. Vasiliy, we will see you May 12th.
Perfectly summed up. Thank you, George. And thank you too, Vasiliy, for joining us live from Los Angeles tonight. That concludes today's official announcement. George and Jim, I'll get you to remain on stage. Put it in your calendar, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday, May 12 from RAC Arena in Perth, a world title triple header headlined by one of the biggest bouts of 2024. Lomachenko versus Kambosos. It will be live and exclusive on Main Events in Australia and on ESPN in America. Corporate packages, including ringside seats, on sale now at vipnow.com.au. Travel packages also on sale now via our partner Qantas at qantas.com.au. And general admission tickets are on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. Perth time. Tickettech.com.au. Thank you for joining us on Fox Sports. It's goodbye from Perth. We will see you on May 12th.